Hello, everyone. Welcome to Anita and Dario's Adventures.
Where all our adventure of food and wine, we bring it to you guys every single Wednesday.
Yes. Food, wine, travel, everything to inspire your life.
Living.
Right?
Yes.
To inspire your life. That's what we talk about. So glad to have you back again. We usually do these as lives. It's interesting because I was watching somebody talk about live streaming and all the comments that come in. And for some reason, how we're doing it, I think it's our technology and our lack of understanding technology. I don't see any of the comments. So usually people, they will email questions to us at info@passioniscooking.com so we can get your questions there, or we answer them back, and depending what area you're in, if you're in Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, we love answering any of your questions you might have. And today, actually this month, we've been talking a lot about Italy, and that is because of our culinary trip that we're going to be doing next year.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
one of them that we're going to be doing next year.
The beautiful about Italy, there is the most incredible thing when we talk about Italy, and I feel a bit of bias here because I am
Italian.
But there is so many beautiful things considering such of a small country. Because remember, Canada is a fairly small country. Italy is a fairly small country. Canada is much bigger. Italy is a peninsula, so it's very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
All this beautiful region, and each region has their culture, their dialect, the language. The Italian language is the same, but each region has their own dialect. Just think about this. In Italy, there is almost 1,500 dialects.
Wow.
So that means from here to the next place 7 kilometers away, completely different dialect. The language is still the same, but it sounds different. But also the beauty about this different different region, a different country, is the product, is the culture, and is how they live, mm-hmm. which is very important because, if you look in the northern part of Italy, it's more of a hustle and bustle kind of idea, like if you're looking in the Lombardy region. But if you go down in the center and southern part of Italy, there's a little bit more of a culture aspect.
Yeah. And I find that a lot of countries, they have a little bit of differences and a little bit of language differences, but in Italy, they're just so proud of what it is. And you can feel that when you go there.
Yeah.
I find, Dario, from the aspect of an Italian chef that's born and raised there, and for myself being North American, I have traveled a lot. I still think of those days that my family would take me back to Holland, and that's where my family's from.
Right.
And it would be the anticipation about getting on that plane, the excitement about going to a different country, walking down those cobblestone streets and listening to the languages and the way everyone does things. It's in my heart. And that's why, I got into travel. That's what I went to school for, to open up a travel agency. I had a travel agency for years because it's engrossed in me. But I always find it fascinating, and also in what we do, I guess, because we do culinary treats there. The Dario is from Italy, and he knows, he has those friends, he has those experiences. And many times you say that you realize now more so when you're away. It's like being from where we are, when you travel or go somewhere, you realize more so afterwards what you're missing, right?
And again, it's the topic that we talk all the time about taking things for granted. I was born and raised there, and I consider myself very fortunate to be in Canada, but very happy to be born in Italy, the country that I grew up. I lived, and I took everything for granted. All this beautiful monument, this beautiful city that I traveled and I seen, and I said, well, it's just another city. Oh, that's another monument. Oh, that's a great thing. And when you go back after so many years, or every year, it's like, wow, that is quite special. But the beauty is the culture. The culture is what becomes contagious. I think last week we were talking about the purpose of traveling, on how to travel. When you get to a country, you want to live into the culture. You don't just want to be the tourist.
That's what my T-shirt had last week.
That's right. So it's about,
I'm not a tourist, I'm a traveler.
You want to engage yourself into the culture. And again, and people say, well, but I don't speak the language. You do not have to speak the language. Sometimes, I don't know if you notice, myself included, I speak a lot with my hands. Well, Italian communicate mainly with their hands, with their emotion, with whatever it is. And I think whatever you put yourself in a situation and you engage yourself into the culture, you actually obtain much more than you actually expect than just a simple trip.
And it's interesting you said that about the language, because a lot of times that's how I communicate. I mean, I'm trying to learn Italian and it's taking a while.
Right.
But a lot of times I'll be with your family or friend members and I'll say something like, go like this, and that means delicious.
That's
right? Simple things like that I've learned. So maybe my pronunciation of Italian isn't the best, but you're able to communicate, which is quite fascinating.
It's actually quite funny because my brother-in-law communicated with Anita through music.
Yes.
Some of the rock bands and some of the
ain't got no
satisfaction. So and he will probably not understand, but that's the only way they communicate. So engaging. But on this week blog.
Yeah, this week, so every week we share a blog, and the best way to get that is to go into our community, into our newsletter to get all the details. So you'll be able to read it, and you'll find this video there as well. But we talk about top places to go to, gems of Italy, that a lot of people don't necessarily realize, or they might realize, but it's just sort of iterating what exactly those places are. And from the 10 that we have, I'd love to talk about 2 of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
yes.
You've introduced them to me, and I think they're fascinating. Yeah. Out of them, there's more to talk about too. But the one that we actually blogged about and wrote about was where you have your free wine. That one is pretty neat.
Oh, yes.
You got to go over there in the blog and check it out. But the other 2 places are Monte San Savino and Bologna. And they're the only 2 that I can really say properly.
Yes. And we don't want to give it away, guys, because we really want you to kind of get in and check it out, because they're fairly amazing little gems in Italy. Monte San Savino, is in the region of Tuscany, obviously. It's this beautiful, breathtaking Etruscan-style village,
and it's a walled city, so it's magical.
It is really magical. Once you get there, it's funny because someone we sent to Italy was a journalist, and she just sent us an email and said, "Oh my God, what an experience!"
Thank you so much. And she went to the Porchetta Festival.
She went to, right? So every year around the month of September there is the Sagra della Porchetta, okay, which is an event and it's been going on for now 55 years. But the whole town gets together. It's such a typical, not necessarily a very tourist spot, but if you want to have an original Tuscan experience and really engage into the culture, I highly recommend Monte San Savino. Bologna.
I got to finish on the Monte San Savino, because I find it, like we go there and we actually stay in the walled city. We stayed outside as well, but right inside the walled city. And the culture and the people there, it's just unbelievable. We take people there on our culinary retreat, and our next retreat is next September. And some of the people that we are exposed to, we can meet, and the experiences that we have there are just unbelievable and breathtaking.
And do you remember last week I was talking about that person is 60 years old and he was almost in tears?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's one of the experiences that we do on our trip as well, that he ended up being on. Yeah. I lost my train of thought here.
Monte San Savino. We said the experience.
And if anyone sees some of our pictures that are out there in our social media, you'll see a lot of pictures that we've done there. So we've actually done it with one of the restaurants, and I guess he's considered like the Pope of. The
Porchetta.
He's met the Pope. He's met so many people, but he's the main
attraction.
Of Aldo. We got pictures of Aldo and his son in the restaurant. We've got pictures by the church. We actually are walking down one of the streets, and that's the image that we're using for our book that's coming out next year, because we just find it very magical in Monte San Savino. So definitely check it out if you go or come with us on our culinary retreat, and you'll get a chance to see it. And Bologna. Go ahead, dear. Sorry.
So tell me about Bologna, because this is a very funny story.
Oh, I don't know what he's going to say. Oh, no.
So a few years ago, So we travel in Italy pretty much every year, except the past year, and we hope to be going hopefully this year. But Anita kept saying, we're going to Parma, we're going to Modena, we're going here, we're going there. And that year specifically, we were down all the way in the southern part of Italy. We went to Capri, and then we went to the Amalfi Coast. And on our way back, we stopped in Tuscany.
And I was demanding.
And she demanded. She said, you know what?
I want to go to Bologna.
I want to go to Bologna. And I said, oh, okay. And it is.
And for you, you've been there so often, right?
But again, remember when we talked about taking things for granted? I've been to Bologna hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
You still liked it even after your ticket?
Yes. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
That's for another
single
live.
time that seems to get a ticket, parking ticket, speeding ticket. It's just, but it's such an historical city located basically in the center of Italy. We call that one the food valley of Italy, the region of Emilia-Romagna. Bologna is a city that's known for the food, for the wine, for the charcuterie, but for the culture, because there is so much history into that city that it really is breathtaking. And that experience for us was unique, because I said, okay, we're going to stop to Bologna on our way back. And, we parked the car, obviously in a place where I got the ticket.
We can't park in the city sometimes.
And
double check that.
And then we wanted to go for lunch. And one other thing about whenever you're traveling, that's a quick tip. Don't go for something you're comfortable with. Go for something that you want to know about. And I mean, obviously I know. And Anita said, oh, I really want to try this dish called tigella. Tigella or piadina. It's one of this kind of a type of bread, and it's served with some of the charcuterie, prosciutto, or some of the phenomenal cheeses. And we sat in a restaurant that was basically in a little alley, a street. Something here in North America we think is almost ludicrous.
We ate a lot more than just that.
And it was the most incredible meal ever. Mm-hmm. Surrounded by this beautiful art, surrounded by this vibrant Italianity. Okay?
This energy.
The energy.
There. Yeah.
Then I think, again, you have to always listen.
You better listen to me all the time.
because as part of that, I rediscovered something that I took for granted, and I think it was a phenomenal experience.
Yeah. And Bologna, like Dario said, the food was unbelievable. We ended up ordering many things on the menu, and we ate a lot that day, and walked around. And I'd love to actually spend a day in Bologna sometime. I know usually we stay very close to it, so it's an easy drive for us to be able to go into Bologna. But those are two of the top tips that are available in our blog that's in for tomorrow. Usually we have it come out in our newsletter first, and you will see the blog and also this Asking this Anita and Dario Adventures video. So it's a good place to go to, so you don't end up missing anything that we have to talk about. So take a look at the top tips. Is there anything else you want to add?
This is kind of a nice time, I actually think, because it's so casual, but it's so important for us to kind of share this kind of adventures, and we love to hear some of their adventures. Yeah.
Right? So we'd love to hear in comments down below, put in some comments, some questions you might have for us that we can answer for next week. Love hearing from you, and come on over to liveyourlife.org and sign up so that you don't miss anything, and come and join us on all the socials where you find it most convenient for you.
And what do we say in Italy? Arrivederci.
Arrivederci, everyone. Hope you're having a great day.
See you later.
Bye,
Bye-bye.